an invocation, CJ do the invitation, and John, if you'll do the Pledge of Allegiance.
All right, everyone stand, please. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Lord, thank you for this time together. Lord, please be with us tonight as we make the important decisions for our city. In your son's name, amen.
You'll join me in reciting the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And Suzanne, would you please call the roll?
Chair Harris,
Here.
Vice Chair Morrell,
Here.
Greer,
Here.
Mayor Brown,
Present.
Councilwoman George,
Here.
Mr. Strother,
Here.
Mr. Thompson.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Tonight, we have, Secretary, do we have minutes for the April 1st and 22nd meetings?
Yes, Chairman, I have minutes dated April 1st, 2024 from the Planning Commission work session and minutes dated April 22nd, 2024 from the regular agenda meeting to submit for your approval, and I submit that we approve them without changes.
Had a
Second.
motion and a second to approve the minutes with no changes. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, passes. Now we come to the point in tonight's meeting for public comment on agenda-related items. If you're here with us tonight and you would like to make a comment on something that's on the agenda, please come forward, state your name and address for the record, and you have 5 minutes.
I'm not sure if this is the appropriate.
Mike.
Thank you. I'm not sure if this is the appropriate place, but if one of the sureties that you have on the consent agenda belongs to volunteer traditions, I'd like to have a conversation about that. If not, then there's no reason for me to continue.
That's an interesting question. I don't know. I know the staff or planning commission members have an option to remove an item from the consent agenda and place it on the regular agenda. I don't know if that applies to city staff.
Well, I'm speaking on behalf of the public as well as the city. I mean, a question I've gotten from the developer, so.
Well,
It's the second to last item under.
It's not on the agenda?
I don't know, but I can talk with you about it.
I'll,
But if you're making a motion to call the sureties, then I did not get this resolved by engineering and planning before tonight. So I never heard back from planning about this one.
okay. Got it. Well, I guess what I'll do is it's technically it's our public comment on agenda radio items.
Okay,
We'll
thank
take it
you.
as a comment. And
Just take it into account that I'd like to come back and talk about that and share with you what the request is from the developer.
okay, thanks.
Hi, Nathaniel Vaporin. I live at 743 Rogers Road in Gallatin, and there's an agenda item tonight to build a couple of houses next to mine. And I don't know if I have comments yet because I didn't know until the day before yesterday that was being done. I haven't seen the plans yet. So I may oppose them, I may not. Is there a way to see the plans before that's approved?
It's in the agenda packet that was posted on the website. That would be the only option at this point.
Okay, I think I can check that.
What, do you know what, is it Monday, Rogers? Item 9? Yeah.
It should be, I
Okay.
believe so.
Can't you, the big screen outside has the entire agenda on it, doesn't it?
Okay, I can check that.
Okay.
Can I come back, or is that period become closed?
That'll be it.
Okay, then I have concerns.
Okay.
The concern, I'm potentially concerned about how close they would be to my house. And since both of us live and work there, the construction would be disruptive. So I'm also wondering if the developer has any plans for mitigation of noise and disruption during the construction process. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, anyone else wishing to speak under public comment for agenda-related items? Seeing no one, I'll close public comment on agenda-related items. And I'll ask the commission if there's, the will to remove the volunteer traditions from the consent agenda and discuss that item separately, or leave it on the consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, do we remove the one item, or do we pull item one from the consent agenda and place it on the regular agenda? I'm not sure.
I'd say you'd pull all of item 1 and put it on the regular agenda if that's the request.
I'll make a motion to pull item number 1, the surety renewals, and place it on the regular agenda.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second to pull item 1 from the consent agenda. Any further discussion? All right, seeing none, we'll call for the vote to remove the item. Place on the regular agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so with that, we have a single item remaining on the consent agenda, which is Cumberland Point Phase 1 accepted public improvements.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by CJ, second by John. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, consent agenda is approved as amended. So we'll go back to item 1, which will now be on the regular agenda, the surety renewals and extensions.
So, Jim Carpenter, staff planner. I can speak a little bit on this. Our surety person is on, our surety coordinator, Miriam Medrak, is on vacation right now. So we can't really sort anything out for the next week and a half. But we'll be more than happy to get this taken care of when she gets back.
What is it we need to get taken care of?
So volunteer traditions was issued a CO about 2 months ago. And they had a little bit of landscaping work to complete and some, I believe, striping within the right-of-way for, was it Greenlee? And Greensboro Drive. Greensboro Drive and Greenlee. My understanding is that the landscaping work has been completed. I haven't been out there within the past week or so. I don't know if the engineering stuff is taken care of, but those are the only 2 outstanding items on that surety. And so that is where we are with it.
Okay, got it.
So do we just defer in these circumstances?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I couldn't hear that well. Did you say the work has been completed or has not?
The landscaping work has been completed. The engineering work, I believe, has not, but I haven't been out there today or in the past few days.
Oh, okay.
And I know one of our city staff members, Ms. Bates, had a comment she'd like to make on it now that we're on the item that'd be appropriate. No?
My understanding of the situation is this, and I had a very long conversation with Aaron in engineering, that a whole lot of background to this, which I'm not going to go into entirely, which involves the location of the greenway section, which is on the property next to this. And then when Volunteer Traditions had to hook up to that section of greenway, there was not 10 feet worth of property that they could put that on because of utility easements. So a requirement was placed on them to add thermoplastic striping onto the road and the roundabout for a shared lane/bicycle lane.
I recall that, yes.
And their concern is that because there are sections of that road that involving where they would be putting down the thermoplastic that is going to be torn up, either when the greenway is extended. Also, there may be some road issues that need to have nothing to do with that, paving issues, and that also their understanding is the entire curb on some or all of the roundabout is going to be removed and replaced with I'm sure I'm not going to get the terminology right, a lay-down curb? A truck apron, because the trucks are tearing up the other type of curb.
Yep.
And so they understand the requirement for the striping. They're not opposed. That's not the reason they're asking for anything different. They just don't want to put it down and have it torn up. So what they would like to do, and this may be you actually call the surety or an alternative that they are recommending, that is to write the city a check, put it into whatever you want to put it into, and then pay for the striping when all that work is done so that you're not tearing it back up. Nick was concerned about paying into an account and recommended calling the surety, but he didn't know how much because he didn't know how much down the road the striping would be. However, the Volunteer Traditions, if they put it down today, is going to pay, I want to say it's around $3,000 that they would have to spend. So I'm just bringing to you a situation that's a concern of theirs. They don't want to renew the surety. They're happy to get the work done, but they just would like to write a check and say, when you're done tearing things up, put the striping down. So that is what I'm conveying. And I believe you talked to one of your planning commission members about this too. I don't have the right answer. I just said, we'll see what they will do. And then Aaron kind of confirmed that, yes, there is going to be work done out there, that if they did the thermoplastic now, it would be torn up.
Before you go any further, I have to recuse myself from this specific item on the surety list.
All right, thanks, CJ. Look, I guess it makes sense it's a reasonable request, right? Don't spend money just to tear the thing right back up, but we need I don't personally have a problem with that as long as there's a process by which to do that. Does that make sense? So Aaron, I don't know if you've got a mechanism to do it, or I'm perfectly willing to say, whatever the agreed upon cost acceptable engineering is, that amount be placed essentially in an escrow account to fund that when engineering deems it appropriate. I don't have a problem with that. What I don't want is to say it's $3,000 a day and find out it's $6,000 later and the city's stuck with the difference. So I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
No, you're fine. I know when I talked to Ms. Rosemary the other day about it, I was aware that the city was working with Goodall to do some pavement repairs to Greenlee Boulevard, and the city was going to surface coat that and pave that. I did not, after the conversation, get out to confirm whether or not that had been done. It was my understanding that work had been done, but I didn't put my eyes on it. And I know that there is talk about updating the curb, like she had mentioned, to provide a truck apron. I don't know the timeline of that. I do know there's a scenario if the striping is there and the roundabout needs to be repaired, fixed, whatever striping was there would be replaced.
Oh, that makes sense. Yes, sir.
Just asking for clarification, we're talking about a $3,000 or a $6,000 issue, not a $20,000 issue, right?
That is my understanding. It's for Sharrow striping.
Well, then I would make a motion to approve item number 1, pulling Volunteer Traditions off of that, and instead stating that Volunteer Traditions submit a check into escrow for $10,000 or less at the discretion of the city engineer. And so that gives you some time to find out like an accurate cost. And if they agree to that, then we can just move forward. Is that fair? But you can't speak for that.
The owner's not here tonight, but I certainly can convey that to him. And then I don't know what date the surety expires. In his mind, he thought it was the end of May, so I don't know what date it expires.
Well, my motion removes the requirement for him to renew the surety, because if I understood correctly, everything's complete except for this $3,000, maybe $6,000 item.
That's my understanding too.
I'm assuming your motion is, not renewing it so long as he completes the payment to the city. in
Well,
lieu
he's
of-
going to put a $10,000 check in escrow, a cash check. So
Contingent
it'll
on
get
that.
done once.
Yeah.
I think that sounds fair, and he has a choice now.
Okay. Mr. Rose?
I did get a little bit of understanding, just because I was copied on some of these emails that were going back and forth. One of the things that Nick had suggested in his email, in one of his responses, was that he thought we needed to be very careful about doing this, because there are a lot of developers that would love to take advantage of the city doing their project, and being their general contractor / manager kind of thing, where they just give us money and we do it. We don't necessarily have the staff to go and do that every time. So that was one of his thoughts about this particular item. But
Yeah, his main suggestion was to call the surety, and then, well, how much would you call and keep? And he didn't know. So, and I said, does calling the surety leave the owner, developer in any negative light? Is it a ding on their record? Is it problematic? Is any bank going to look at him badly? And Nick said, not as far as he is aware, it would just be calling, and I do not know enough about this subject to answer that question.
No, and I understand. Aaron, let me ask you this. Is this something that in part is a concern on engineering's part because the striping would have to be redone at the city's expense?
This was not a problem for engineering that I was aware of. The first time I heard of it was when Ms. Rosemary gave me a call.
I'm not concerned personally with setting a precedent when we have a specific action that's happening behind it that we're aware of. I don't think we're opening the door that we're setting a precedent because we're talking about tying it to something we know is coming that would cost the city more money. So with that, I've got a motion from Mr. Pereira to move it forward with, essentially up to a $10,000 escrow into the account as to close out the surety on the project. Do I have a second for that?
A second.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Does everybody understand? Any other discussion on it? All right. Favor of approving item 1 with the condition, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, passes.
Thank you for your patience.
Thank you, Rosemary. All right, we'll move on to regular agenda item number 3, which is resolution 2024-050 McCain Station Residential Phase 2D Final Plat. It's my understanding this was intended to be included on the consent agenda, but made it toward the regular agenda. So hopefully it doesn't take long. Go ahead, Charlie.
Good evening, Commissioners. Charlie Pieri, Staff Planner. The owner and applicant requests approval for the final plat of McCain Station Phase 2D, containing 45 attached residential lots, 6 open space tracts on 4.34 acres, zoned as MRO, multiple residential and office. This project is located east of Big Station Camp Boulevard and northeast of Pryor Drive. Staff recommends approval of the resolution 2024-050.
All right, thanks, Charlie. Do we have a representative for the applicant here this evening?
Chris Mayberry with Reagan Smith. Be happy to answer any questions you have.
Motion to approve with all staff comments.
Second. All right, so we had a motion to approve with staff comments, second by myself. Any further discussion on the item? All right, seeing none, call for the vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, passed unanimously. Thank you. All right, item 4 is resolution 2024-051, Music City Executive Airport Expansion Site Plan. And I'm going to recuse myself from that item since I'm the chairman of the Music City Executive Airport and adjacent property owner, and ask the vice chairman to take the item.
Yes. Item number 4, GMPC resolution number 2024-051, Music City Executive Airport Expansion Site Plan. Jim.
All right. Jim Carpenter, Staff Planner. The owner and applicant request approval of a site plan for Music City Executive Airport on a portion of a 424.19 acre parcel zoned IG Industrial General district located east of Airport Road and south of Cairo Road. So this is an interesting project for two reasons. First, IG zoning does not allow for master plans. So this is a site plan that is in essence serving as a master plan. The FAA requires the airport to update their master plan roughly every 10 years. So this is kind of consistent. This is the city's version to go with it. There's a condition of approval and notes on the plan that state all future expansion of the airport will come through amending this site plan, which means that buildings under 50,000 square feet can be approved administratively. So there is the possibility that future amendments may not necessarily come before this board, depending on the size and scale of the project. Secondly, the portion of a 424.19 acre parcel is that most of this property, the preponderance of this property is in city limits. However, there is portions of the airport property that is not in city limits currently. And so technically this area only encompasses the part that is in city limits. So with that, staff had mostly minor comments. Engineering has a condition of approval regarding driveway spacing. Let's have a, with this drive, which will be the future main terminal drive. But outside of that, staff had very minor comments and recommends approval with 5 conditions.
Okay. Is there a representative from the applicant present?
Good evening, Garrett Wright with Scarver, owner's representative. We asked that condition number 2, the driveway permit, be removed from this. The old Donnelly plant that's across the street that's just a back entrance to our knowledge and does not receive very much traffic. So when that plant becomes operational again, and they can perhaps meet up with our proposed drives.
Okay.
As well as condition number 3, the detailed water and sanitary sewer plans shall be approved before the plat is signed. This project does not contain a plat, it's just a site plan, so we also request that number 3 be removed as well.
Okay. Engineering, I guess, do you have anything to add to number 2?
I do not. The only thing, if this body chooses to remove that and wants the redevelopment of the Donnelly property to align, it'll be up to this body to ensure that that gets lined up.
Okay. I'm assuming that the driveway placement where y'all have it for the airport is to provide a better layout for the airport itself.
Correct, yes. Yep, it maximizes the airport's potential growth.
Okay. Anyone have any questions?
Tell me again, the only condition you're wanting to remove is the driveway permit?
I think in item number 3 too, because
2 and 3, yeah. Correct.
number 3
as
doesn't
well.
make sense because there's no plat associated with the plan.
All future water and sewer will be coordinated with
Gallatin Public Utilities.
at that time.
Do you have anything else, John?
No.
I'd like to make a motion to move forward, and with both of those conditions, well, one condition would be removed.
2 and 3.
2 and 3?
2 and 3.
I'll second that. Any discussion? Seeing none, take it to a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, CJ.
Sir.
All right, item 5 on tonight's agenda is Resolution 2024-052, 804 Harris Drive detached garage site plan.
Mr. Chairman, let the record show I'll recuse myself. I own a property on Kathy Circle.
All right, so noted.
Good evening, Commissioners. Bradley Hickman, Staff Planner. The owner and applicant request the approval of a site plan for a 576 square foot accessory structure with alternative architecture on a .75 acre lot zoned R20 low-density residential located 804 Harris Drive. Per the work session discussion, there was some question about were there existing structures in the neighborhood similar to this one, and the applicant has provided a picture. If we get through the elevations here. There we go. And if you can read that, I believe it says 1014 Durham Drive. And there is the picture the applicant provided, which does appear to be a white metal building with a charcoal roof.
Thank you. Do we have a representative for the applicant with us?
Hey, Michael Christian with the Barn Store. Basically, the picture that we have is a terrible picture, but we're basically trying to do the same thing. You got a young couple that's bought an old ranch home that's putting a couple $100,000 into a remodel and going to paint it white, and we're going to build them a shop to match in metal. So that's the end of that.
This is pretty typical of these, applications that we've seen where they're having to come through. Hopefully with our zoning ordinance update, we'll stop doing this. So I'll make a motion to approve the request, and I got a second from Albert. So any further discussion on the item?
Sir.
All right, with that, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Yes.
No,
I'm looking at the lot sizes and comparing, and I am concerned, trying to think where this is in relationship to the other and where it's going to actually sit on the lot. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get, my screens aren't working right this evening, so I'm trying to go through this. Again, I don't like these things being our decision, but I do know that this is a neighborhood. So it's going to the back left of that building.
That's correct.
It's how far from the street? 100
It's like 114.
114, yeah.
feet. And then the Durham Drive. If it's the house I'm thinking of on Durham, that's a big lot and that's way in the back. But I'm not sure.
It's on the screen.
Yeah, it's a similar lot. So whenever I sent the guys out to try to find a picture of it, I just told them to find a similar lot in the neighborhood with, there's a half a dozen similar buildings. Probably most of them we built in the neighborhood and the surrounding neighborhoods, all relatively similar size lots, similar houses. It's a lot of updating going on in that neighborhood, as you guys probably well know. And
That looks like a really old one.
No, that building's probably less than a couple years old.
It looks like wood siding to me.
It's not, it's metal. The metal wainscot, you can see the wainscot trim on there as well. That's actually one of our buildings, that's why I'm so sure.
I've driven through here a lot of the outbuildings in this neighborhood vary. Some of them match, some of them don't.
Yeah. And some of them are just the little bitty, dinky,
Yeah.
sitting up on 2 4x4 or blocks or,
Obviously not built by you.
no, ma'am. Although there's a lot of them out there, I wouldn't mind building them.
In this case, too, I think you said they're going to paint the house white and put a white
They
outline.
are, yeah, so their plan is to, obviously, they're putting a bunch of money into the house, they're gonna paint the house nice white color, which everybody's doing now, and they want that kind of farmhouse look, and we're gonna build a building to match, so.
But we've got a motion on the floor with a second. Any further discussion?
For the record, while I'm here, if you don't mind me asking, I'd love to
If
sit
you
down
don't,
and talk.
if you don't mind, I got
Yeah, go ahead.
let's finish this and we'll talk.
Sure thing.
We got a motion and a second, no further discussion. All those in favor of approval of the item with one recusal, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, passes with one recusal. And go ahead.
Yeah, just forgive my ignorance, I just don't know. Like, if I wanted to kind of open up some dialogue with the city about saving them some time on doing a lot of these projects, obviously we built a lot of them, I'd love to do that. I'm happy to sit down and talk to whoever I need to talk to, I just don't know where to start, so.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We'll get, Brian's going to give you a card, and we're in the process of updating our zoning ordinance, and we appreciate your comments.
Yeah, all right, thanks.
Thank
guys.
you. Item 6 is Resolution 2024-054, Southwater Car Wash Site Plan.
The owner and applicant request approval of a site plan for the Southwater Car Wash located at 1297 Southwater Avenue, 2.96 acre parcel zoned as commercial services, located at 1279 Southwater Avenue. Currently, this is what sits on the site, and the proposed addition to the car wash is that auto queuing area and some additional parking and vacuum spaces. Planning Department staff had 3 comments, while engineering had the other 4 of the 7 conditions for approval. 2 of planning staff's comments were fairly simple in nature, just some minor updates to a site data table and a note on the plan. And then our main comment was that this site must be replatted to reflect the current setbacks for the commercial services zoning district, because the current survey and plats on there show 3 different setback lengths. With that being said, Planning Department recommends approval of Resolution 2024-054 with the 7 conditions.
All right, thanks, Charlie. Do you have a representative for the applicant with us this evening?
Andy Leith with Greenlee Design, project representative. So we're in agreement with all the comments but 2, those being comment number 3 and comment number 4, which both relate to the entrance location. And so I'll be happy to discuss that with you.
So Andy, I guess if it, looking at the plans, the question I'd have is, what's the negative of getting the access off of 109 with the way the corridor management plan is, since you have access over driver's lane?
So we did look at that at the request of engineering. We met with Aaron and Nick in between the work session and this meeting. The grade change from where engineering is requesting the location to the actual car wash is pretty drastic with people in acute position. The drive would be over 10%. And if this was a raw site, we could do some grading, but we're not proposing any changes to the existing car wash. So the car wash is there. We're not increasing the tunnel length. We're not changing the way it operated beforehand. All that we're proposing with this is to move the pay station and get some more stacking. The entrance we currently have is there. We're not now, since the work session, we're not proposing any changes to the entrance. It's not a change of use. All that we're doing is adding stacking. It's not changing how it operates. From a tax perspective, the previous car wash operated, you paid, you went through the automatic car wash, you used the vacuums, exact same function now. We're not increasing the capacity of the building. It's staying the same. All that we're doing is trying to get cars off the road quicker and get them somewhere to stack before they go into the car wash. But the main reason why we can't make the entrance work off of the side road is just a grade change to get up to the car wash, and cars would be in a stacked position on 10% grades.
Aaron, is this car wash, was this pre-existing the widening of, and Andy, you may know, was this pre-existing the widening of 109?
I do believe it was, yes.
Oh, yeah, it goes way back.
Yeah, it's old. In my opinion, the way they have it laid out would, 1, get cars off the street, and 2, would it not be adhering to the access plan? Because they're eliminating a drive.
No, they're not.
There's an existing drive, like, you could.
There's a lay down
technically-
there, but it's not a drive.
But it's a
How did they
curb
get in
cut.
there?
They're eliminating a curb cut by not utilizing it. There's a curb cut there on the lot to the south.
It shows right there, it's right beside this, and as this currently it sets, we're not showing the property line that divides the two parcels. The plat has been turned into the city to remove that property line. So there are there are two legal lots there right now.
So I mean,
We are getting rid of that one curb cut that's there.
I guess just forgive my ignorance, but if it's not a change of use and they're not asking to change the access, what triggers the bring it into compliance with the corridor management plan?
Sure, it's
John, you may-
a
you may-
redevelopment that has frontage along driver's lane. So the fact that it's a redevelopment, that's why we feel it met the triggers.
We had a long battle with the convenience store down there on the corner of Nichols Lane and 109, trying to defend this corridor access management plan, and we lost that. And every time we lose one of these, we further compromise 109, which is, we've gone to great lengths to make it have more capacity. The problem is not the turning in action on here, it's the coming out of that, and it's too close to the intersection. I understand your concern about the entrance only being off of driver's lane, but if you had the ingress to the property off of 109, but you made egress, the outgoing traffic turn onto driver's lane, that's not going to be a problem with stacking on a 10% grade. And as far as that bioretention, I understand that that's the area where the bioretention is where that road would have to go through. But could that bioretention not be rotated 90 degrees and still allow you the road exit?
So it's not so much the bioretention that's the issue, and to what I think I hear what you're saying. If you come in off of 109 and go out.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I did look at that, and so if you look at the rotation of the site, you would have people trying to turn in to the site to get in the stacking, and then you would have people coming out of the vacuums. You have crisscrossing traffic right there. I just don't think that's a good idea.
I do see what you're saying there.
Can you do ride out?
Well, that was the compromise we made on the,
Other
for the
years.
convenience store, was we only gave them a ride in, ride out. And so, obviously ride in and ride out to this site, limit the potential, customer.
It does, and so our stance is pretty simple. Now, I've been sitting in front of you guys for a long time, and I think my personality now is to not be too argumentative. And whether I agree with what's happening there or not, there's an existing car wash there. The zoning's in place for it. We have access to it. He could turn the water on tomorrow and start operating the car wash. We're trying to improve the site, make it better. If this was a raw piece of land, I wouldn't even be having this conversation with you. Off Nichols. So if he come to my office and wanted to develop this flat out or bulldoze it down and start all over again, I'd say there's no fight to be had. We're coming in off Nichols, or don't do it. But we're literally changing very little with the site as far as how it functions, the traffic it generates. Nothing else is changing. So I feel like he has a right to that cut.
So I guess, I might pose the question this way to staff and engineering is what they're proposing better than what's there now if they were to continue to operate it as a car wash?
From a stacking perspective, yes, because there's adding more to it. But as what Mr. Puryear had alluded to, as this corridor redevelops, we have this management agreement that was done with the Nashville MPO, Sumner County, Wilson County, Gallatin, Lebanon, and Portland, to when these types of things come up, to make decisions about the access to 109, to help it function. And so I feel like you said, these are the types of decisions where we need to follow the recommendations from that study.
Do we have feedback from TDOT yet?
The city has spoke to TDOT, and I'm going to repeat what I was told, and Aaron, please correct me if I misspeak, but if we're not touching the entrance, then they're not taking it away from us.
they would not be required to get a TDOT driveway permit if they don't touch the right-of-way.
Interlocal agreement, Gallatin has done very well by. We've been very conservative in adding accesses. It's been so long ago since we did that, I don't recall all the details of it, but, certainly combining accesses, access roads were talked about a lot at the time. Not really seeing that anywhere. We're kind of in the middle, and, I'm feeling a little victim-y because I don't feel like, that's neither here nor there. I feel like Gallatin has done a really good job, but I don't feel like it's all about, in this case, with an existing business, taking away an access on a site that's getting improved. I don't feel like this is as justified a battle as some of the others might be, for a new site, for a different use, for the other things that I think we could defend our position on a little bit better.
And if the car wash doesn't work out and it gets bulldozed down or change of use, then I would agree with engineering, like you have a right to make the move.
Well, that was my next question was, if this is approved and allowed to keep it, and at some point in the future it changes use, does it bring the question back up again, or does this grant some type of vested right for the property?
If it's a change of use site plan, then I think at that time,
At that time, TDOT would say it's a change of use, and they would require you to do work.
I was around when the widening 109 happened. I wasn't on the planning commission, but I recall a lot of the conversations about it with the existing residents. There were talks about frontage roads and how to deal with the traffic, and it was decided to allow the existing driveway connections to stay. I think that's what led to the agreement to deal with them as they came up and change of use to work on eliminating them. But to the mayor's comment, in this case, it's not a change of use. It's an existing driveway cut that was there is being improved. I have a hard time telling that property owner that they've got to have some undue burden. If in the future it ever changed, then it would make a lot of sense. And to CJ's point, TDOT would weigh in on that driveway connection. So,
And we're removing a curb cut that's already there
yeah.
and making it to where they can't use it.
But in the end, I think what's being proposed is an improvement in a lot of ways. So I'll make a motion to approve it, striking conditions 3 and 4 for the reasons that I've stated.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by myself, second by Councilwoman George. Again, it's not ideal, but I think, if this, to the applicant's comment, if this was a raw lot or it was a redevelopment, I think we'd be having a very different conversation. So,
Yeah.
any further debate? All right. Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Mark me as abstain.
So passes with 1 abstention. So, all right, thank you. And I'm going to ask CJ to take over the remainder of the meeting, if you would. I have a conflicting meeting that I need to go to, but thanks for letting me be here tonight.
See, Matt? Okay, I believe we're on item number 7, GMPC Resolution Number 2024-053, Gallatin Industrial Data Center amended site plan. Jim?
The owner and applicant request approval of an amended site plan for the Gallatin Industrial Data Center for a additional 276,079 square foot data center with associated infrastructure on a portion of a 512.54 acre parcel or lot located at 1432 Gateway Drive. The architecture on this building is consistent with the other buildings currently on the site. Staff recommends approval with 7 conditions.
Okay. Is there a representative from the applicant present?
Brad Simpson with Barge Design Solutions. We don't take any exceptions to the conditions of the approval. Happy to answer any questions or address any comments.
Any comments or questions from the commission? Staff want to add anything? Okay, entertain a motion. We have a
Second.
Motion and a second. Motion by Albert, second by the mayor. Any discussion? No? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Passes. Thank you. Move on to item number 8, GMPC Resolution Number 2024-061, Keene School of Music Site Plan. Looks like this one, is this deferred? Yes. Okay, so we'll move on to item number 9. This is Resolution Number 2024-055, Mundy Rogers Road, amended preliminary master development plan / revised final master development plan. Brad?
The owner and applicant request approval of an amended preliminary master development plan, revised final master development plan for Mundy Rogers Road on a 3.98 acre master plan located east of Richland Court and south of Rogers Road. Staff recommends approval on this, and that it be a minor amendment since it's taking it down from 5 approved lots to 2.
Okay. Anything else, Brad? Okay. Is there a representative for the applicant present?
Drew Ferguson, Greenland Design.
1 second. We need to have a public comment on this one? No? Because it's amending a preliminary master development plan? Okay. 1 second. Is there anyone in the audience here that would like to speak on this item? Yes, sir. Is it 3 minutes or 5 minutes? Okay.
I'm just wondering if there is information available about what's intended to be built on the lots.
Yes, if you'll say your name and your address again, and
My
then.
apologies.
you have 3
Nathaniel
minutes.
Vaprin, 743 Rogers Road in Gallatin.
Okay.
And I'm just wondering if there's any information at this point on what's being built on the lots. I don't have any objection to the subdivision as such.
There is not at this time.
Okay.
It is zoned R15 or PRD R15, so single-family residential home is typical for that.
All right.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Seeing none, I'll close public comment. And then representative for the applicant.
Drew Ferguson, Greenland Design. I don't think there's any comments, so just here to answer any questions.
Okay, agree with all of staff's comments, or no comments?
There was no
Okay.
comments on the report.
I know we talked about this one in the work session. I mean, this one came in front of us last time with 5 lots. That's the original plan that's up on the board. We have to vote whether or not this is a major or minor. I'll make a motion that it's a minor amendment. Second by Albert. Any discussion on major or minor? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? So it's a minor amendment. I think this is obviously an improvement to the previous plan. It's less infrastructure for the city to take care of, and the lots are larger than the lots that are in front of it and surrounding it. So I'll make a motion that we approve.
I will second it.
Second by Eileen. Yes, sir.
Discussion?
Discussion.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to this, but what do you mean by the lots are larger than the ones surrounding it? It looks like the lots are a lot smaller than the neighboring.
The
Oh,
lots
that plan.
proposed, yes.
Yeah.
So the one they had up on the board was the previous plan that they're amending. And so these 2 lots are what they're coming forward with now.
To the gentleman in the back, I think you're in good shape here.
Yeah. Sir, this is an improved plan from what was going to be there.
So we're talking about 2 lots.
Yes, sir. They're going from 5 to 2.
You have a motion on the floor in a second.
Yes, sir. Any more discussion or questions? It was a minor. We voted that it was a minor. Yes. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Passes. Thank you. Okay, item number 10, resolution number 2024-056, Clearview Park Improvements, Final Master Development Plan. Jim.
All right. The owner and applicant request approval of a final master development plan for Clearview Park on a 7.28 acre portion of a parcel zoned R6 high-density residential located south of Chambers Street and east of Lake Street. Many of you all are familiar with this site, but with the zoning, this had to be an FMDP as opposed to a site plan, so that's where we are. So this is the existing site. They are adding parking and adding 2 pavilions, as well as demolishing and constructing a new community center. Staff recommends approval with 6 conditions.
Okay. And this is a true FMDP, so no public comment.
That's correct.
Okay. Is there a representative from the applicant present?
Jim Gillum, Wald Architects and Engineers, and Ms. Rosemary Bates with the city. We've read through and understand the comments. I think there may have been some misunderstanding maybe between me and engineering on a couple of them, but definitely the project, we're really stretched tight on the budget. I know Ms. Bates expanded on that at the last meeting, and keep going on and expanding and taking on more responsibility, more work. It just start stretching the dollars, and the cost estimate we've got is right at the top of the threshold, and may have to look at starting doing some alternate bids as it is, but be glad to answer any more questions or turn over to Ms. Bates as well.
The concern we have is the engineering comment about reestablishing the ditch and revising the plan to remove the pedestrian access perpendicular. And I just didn't know exactly, it was not part of the conversation on the pre-app meeting or the previous meeting, so I did not know what that meant and how expensive that is and whether stormwater has money to pay for that. Not that that's the Planning Commission's concern.
Sure, so that's just, there was some miscommunication on the original comments that went out. Currently, there's an existing pedestrian connection directly to Chambers Street, and a comment was made to realign that with the new access to the building when we were asking for it to be removed altogether. So so what you're showing now is a 12-foot sidewalk connection from the existing sidewalk to Chambers Street. There's no receiving ramp on the other end, and there is a culvert that's under that sidewalk. So we're just asking for that connection from the existing sidewalk to Chambers Street to be removed and that culvert taking out. So basically
Okay,
just.
so we're removing concrete that would have been installed with this project.
Correct.
Which will save money.
Correct.
Oh, excellent.
Correct. And
Thank
just,
you.
and basically where the existing, I think it's a 5-foot connection, we'd be removing that and just making sure that ditch section goes
Okay,
through.
so get them to get into the parking area or the other side of the park and stay on the sidewalk and not walk in the street.
Correct.
And now I understand. Thank you very, very much.
So does that cover the condition 1 that says to adjust back to the ditch section once they remove that connection?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Does that answer your question?
That's fabulous. Saves money. I'll take it. City will take it.
Do you agree with all other comments?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Any discussion or questions for the applicant?
I'll make a motion to approve with staff 6 conditions.
I'll second. We'll give it to Mike. Mike seconded. So motion by John with all of staff's comments, second by Mike. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Passes.
Thank you.
So item number 11 is resolution number 2024-057, Hicks Lane annexation/plan of service. Jim?
All right, the owner and applicant requests the planning commission to recommend to the Gallatin City Council a resolution to annex a 77.55 acre parcel and adopt a plan of service for the same property located north of Hicks Lane and east of Dobbins Pike. So this is the annexation area with the existing city limit line. And it is contiguous to city limits. No plan has been submitted. This is just a request for annexation. Zoning with any plans would come after. Staff recommends approval with no conditions, and a public comment is required for this item.
Thanks, Jim. Open up the floor for public comment at this time. Seeing none, we'll close the public comment section and ask for a representative from the applicant to come forward.
Jim Harrison, CSDG. I'm here on behalf of the property owner. We've just been assisting the property owners. They go through this process. We had quite a bit of information when the site had been looked at previously. Just here to answer any questions as I can.
Any questions for the applicant? Okay. Yeah, no plan at this time.
No plan. We had a previous plan
Yeah.
that, showed we were well within the plan Gallatin. It was like 2.5 units per acre or something like that.
Okay. We'll obviously once it goes through annexation, if there is a plan in the future, we will see that before it goes forward. So entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Okay. We have a motion from Eileen, second. Do I see a second? Albert, second?
Before you vote, can I just have one
Of course.
minute to just read the plan of services?
Yes.
Which I am right now admitting I didn't read before the meeting. So. Okay, we're good.
Any discussion, John?
Nope.
Okay. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Passes. Okay, I believe that was the final item. We'll move on, final item on the regular agenda. We'll move on to item number 12, which is other business. Brian or Jim?
Other business, just have a couple of dates for you all to get on your calendars. First, and this is in regards to the zoning ordinance update. First meeting that we're looking at doing is a kickoff meeting on June 17th. That's here in this building, in this room, at 6 p.m. So if you can mark your calendars and come out and join us for that, that would be awesome.
Serving dinner?
We might have some snacks. I don't know.
I second that question.
Secondly, the Planapalooza, which will be our 4-day event, that will be in the following month in July, on July 12th through the 15th. So we're actually going to be using the Chamber's new space across the way. They've agreed to let us do that, even though they won't have even had their grand opening yet. So we're going to give it a dry run before they do that. And then about 10 days later, I think they're going to have their grand opening. That will be, like I said, 4 days. It starts on a Friday. It goes Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So if you can't make a weekday, there will be multiple opportunities to come out and participate for that, multiple different meetings, and then workshop type stuff that they'll be doing as they're here in town. They'll be doing focus groups and smaller meetings within that time frame, and we'll try and get all the details out to you within about 3 weeks or so of that event.
What's the dates again? I'm sorry.
The 12th through the 15th of July. Yeah. So anyway, just want you to kind of keep that in mind, put it on your calendars and, prepare to be able to come out and participate in that event. Now, between that, I still have to work out a date between the two events. We are going to try to do, and I haven't even mentioned this to the mayor yet, but we're going to try to do a joint planning commission and city council special meeting to do an update on what the consultants have done to date to analyze our situation. So we'll work on coming up with a date. We'll send out an email to you guys to get that squared away.
What's that situation?
But what's our situation? I'm going to let them tell us.
It's going to be excellent.
No, anyway, and their analysis of our plans and our code and that sort of thing will be involved in that discussion. So other than that, just get ready. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to it. So that's all I have for other business.
Awesome.
Oh, and Jillian's coming back next week, Tuesday. We saw her at the picnic. It was really awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, no.
Got to meet the baby.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Baby's doing good? Nice.
Yep. So
Okay. Any other announcements?
that's it.